On the day that Cyprus was saved, people joined the annual celebration of Greek independence. Ironic, since the banking crisis in Cyprus was triggered last year by huge losses in the Greek bailout. Cyprus now has a bailout of its own. They've avoided the worst, but few are pleased.
The
decisions that were made were harsh. It's a catastrophe. It'll be a long time before things are right again.
It's a real shame what has happened, but with the way things were going, what else could they do? There was no other solution. God help us all.
After 10 hours of agonising negotiations in Brussels, a deal was struck to vastly reduce the banking sector in Cyprus. The two biggest banks will be hit. Laiki, or Cyprus Popular Bank, will close with individual deposits above $130,000 frozen to pay costs at a later date. Deposits below that amount will move to the bigger Bank of Cyprus, where rich investors and account holders will face losses of up to 40%.
Tonight is a good night for Cyprus and the Eurozone. A long period of uncertainty and insecurity surrounding the Cyprus economy has ended.
But was it really a good night for Cyprus?
Thousands of jobs will immediately be lost in the closure of Laiki Bank, and many more will go as small businesses struggle to survive without ready access to loans. Pension and insurance funds invested in the big banks will face heavy losses, and of course there's austerity demanded by the international lenders in return for the bailout that will eat into jobs, salaries and economic growth.
Nobel Prize-winning economist and Cypriot Christopher Pissarides described it as the worst night since Turkey's invasion of the north in 1974.
There are loads and loads of small countries in the world that have this kind of banking sector. Luxembourg has a bigger one. So what I'd like to know is whether the IMF intends to take them all in turn and shoot them down one at a time, because they don't like the idea of small countries having big financial services and exporting them to bigger countries.
Cyprus will now receive and have to repay a $13 billion package of rescue loans. A better outcome, you might think, than becoming the first country to leave the euro. If only it were that simple. Jonah, Al Jazeera, Nicosia.